Well, tonight we found out that Alex was really pissed from Flight 462. She gave up all the intel on Abigail. It was not Alicia. Jack tried his hardest to woo Alicia, but it turns out that radio romances are not all they're cracked up to be. Apparently, Daniel is hearing voices now, which is maybe not a good thing. Madison secretly successfully pulled off the infected hostage exchange. And Chris killed Reid. We're not sure what happened. He said he was turning, but we don't know that. Was it just a cold-blooded execution? Maybe we'll find out. We have a packed show full of exclusive interviews, including one with Lorenzo James Henry talking about why Chris shot Reid. Behind-the-scenes look at Alicia's daring plunge off Connor's boat, plus an exclusive sneak peek of next week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead. My guests are Alicia herself, Alicia Debnam Carey, and I'm excited to announce our two surprise cast members, Jesse McCartney, who played Reid, and Jack himself, Daniel Zavato. I am Chris Hardwick, and welcome to Talking Dead. They're very excited that you're all here. They're very excited. Right. Happy Mother's Day, first of all. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. We have a steak for you if you're a mom watching the show. Excellent. The conversation's just beginning. We want to hear from you guys. What do you want to know after watching tonight's episode? Tweet us at AMC Talking Dead. You can call us toll-free at 855-332-3548. That's 1-855-DEAD-LIVE. And go to TalkingDead.com/playdead to vote in our polls and play in our quiz. Please hello to my guests, Jesse McCartney, Daniel Zavato, and Alicia Debnam Carey. Alicia with a Y. Alicia on the show's Alicia with an I. You're Alicia with a Y.
I know. It's not confusing in the slightest. It's
not confusing in the stuff, but it's good. It's very easy for people that are not going to mess up.
It actually works out quite well on set because it gives no one an excuse to forget.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like if you're not your character's name, you know, if people are like, hey, Daryl Dixon, he's like, my name's Norman. They're like, Alicia. You're like, yeah, that's me.
Like, yeah,
with a Y. Did you mean with a Y? I meant with an I. Get out of my face.
Our first AD actually calls me that. He's always like, Alicia, with a Y.
That's me. Do you feel vindicated that Alex was the real reason for how the boat hijacking went sideways?
Actually, I will mention that I noticed last week on The Talking Dead, everyone voted on a poll, 90% yes, that Alicia was the reason, and now I am not so much the reason.
Really awkward.
So, thank you, America.
Yeah. America, yeah. Well, I was totally on your side the whole time, but America was like, and I'm like, well, you better, because she's going to be here next week. And they're like, shut up.
Thanks, so, thanks for being the 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think for Alicia especially, it was a relief. But also, now we can blame not only Alicia, we can blame Strand a little bit.
Yeah.
And we can blame Alex. And, you know, a little bit of...
We can blame everyone.
Travis.
We can blame everyone except for Alicia. That's the important thing.
She's fine. No, I mean, I think in that moment, honestly, there is, like, a great sense of relief, which is, well, yeah, a momentary relief that it wasn't just completely on her because, you know, she spent so much time on her own, self-consumed with such guilt for the fact that she is the reason why the family's now split up and that she's been taken hostage along with Travis and that everyone's been held hostage on this boat. So it's a little bit of a relief that it's not just her.
And also to see that there are consequences with Strands, like, we got to protect this boat.
Yeah.
That actually is the thing that got them in trouble.
Yeah.
So what's going through...
Double-edged sword, right?
Totally double-edged sword. So what's happening in Alicia's mind when Connor's cooking a steak and she's just on this new boat and they're like, we're going to find a job for you. Like, what do you think she's thinking at that point?
That was my favorite scene to shoot, actually. I, like, really loved that scene.
You eat all the time, or?
Yeah, they gave me really good steak every day. Like, I mean, I love that scene to start off with. Like, the whole, when I read it, it was so sensory. There's so many weird little moments and details in that scene. Like, you've got the skiing video playing in the background, which I thought was really bizarre but awesome. And, like, the whole, like, reason they do things like that, too, like, in the real world, is, like, you're on this real fishing ship, and, like, the fishermen get landlocked, or, like, sea-locked, I guess.
Sure.
And so they need this sense of environment and difference, and so they play nature videos all the time. And so that's, like, a real thing they put in the show, and, like, just, like, the whole set itself was, there was very little work done to it. Like, we were on a real fishing boat. Yeah, tuna boat. Yeah. And so there was, like, it was great to then just be in that space, and, like, the kitchen was really grimy, and, like, it was kind of cool. But like for Alicia in that scene, then to shoot it, it's like this, you know, 3-minute scene without very much talking, and it's her just sort of really trying to pick up as many details as she can. like, where is she? She can't identify anything. She's now with, like, 2 strangers. Where is Jack? First of all, like, he's not even there. And she's stuck with Connor, who's sort of going on this ego trip about how great these steaks he makes. Like,
until the angry pregnant lady comes in and takes your damn steak.
Take my damn steak.
Ridiculous. Daniel, do you think I mean, I guess it's kind of weird, particularly in this world, to define what's good and bad because everyone's trying to survive. But do you think Jack's intentions are good?
Yeah, I do think his intentions are good. I mean, I think he is surrounded by someone who's not so good. You know what I mean? Like, he's not the nicest guy.
He's got some issues.
Yeah, you could say that. But so I think he's just someone who's kind of, you know, trapped, you know, with people who are not the nicest and are doing things in the way that maybe he shouldn't or he wouldn't do them.
Yeah.
But I think he comes from a good place, and I think he's coming back just to make sure that everything is under control, you know?
Yeah, it was hard to tell if she kind of realized, oh, I can manipulate him, or if he was over manipulating. Like, it was, I couldn't figure out. Like,
it's like a chess game.
It was totally like a chess game.
Yeah.
And Jesse, you were so great on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm so sorry you got killed.
Yeah.
But, did you have any idea you'd be playing a villain?
I had no idea. This show in particular it's one of those shows that everything is super hush hush. They don't give you any information before you go down. And I walked into Wendy O'Brien, the casting director's office, and I was like, "So what am I doing here? Like, what's happening?" She's like, "I can't tell you." In fact, the character's name on they were fake sides. The character's name was Reese or something. It was just a totally different person. I kind of got the feeling that maybe I wasn't the best person, because a lot of the audition was like this interrogation scene, and then I got down there, and they were like, "Here's a rifle and a handgun. You know, you're going to be toting guns during this whole arc." So I quickly put it together that I was not necessarily going to be the sweetest guy on the boat, but it was cool, and I was like this apocalyptic pirate, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know, which was a really incredibly refreshing for me. As you know, the last role I played, I was like the sweet boy next door, and so everyone who tuned in, I got on my Twitter feed, it was like, I think that was. No, that wasn't.
Now you were the sweet boy next door's dickhead older brother, basically, is what you got, which was great. That must have been super fun for you.
It was a lot of fun, and you know, it was incredible getting to work with such talented actors and this amazing cast. You know. But now I'm gone. Now I've got a bullet to the head. So
you had a great death.
We totally haven't had that on this show, like in this universe yet, really, like the pirate theme either.
No.
Which is cool.
Well, it's been great. And did you know Jesse before he came on the show?
I'm about to embarrass you, you know that? I'm about to embarrass myself, actually. Did I know Jesse McCartney? Who didn't? I remember when Jesse was like the teen heartthrob pop star when I was like 10, and everyone knew who Jesse McCartney was. And I remember before you even came on set, you were like the talk of the set for 2 days prior. Everyone was like, is it Jesse McCartney? Like, no, it's the real Jesse McCartney. I was like, and like every time we're on set, you were on set too, we would start singing like Beautiful Soul, and then I was like, no, stop singing that. Like, he's right there.
That echoing from your dressing room.
I'm like, I had to keep reminding myself, I was like, don't sing that, he's right there. And then it took me like 2 weeks after to work up the courage to be like, Jesse, I have to tell you something. It was like one night we were all out for dinner, and I said, I know all the words to Beautiful Soul. Like, I know exactly who you are. Like,
oh, that's so sweet.
And he was like, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, because you think I was crazy.
She was not. She's an one.
Everyone knew.
She's incredible.
Like,
You should hear her version.
We all waited to, like, you know, you totally did your thing, and you were Reid, and you were great, and you were so like this amazing actor, and you know, no one wanted to suddenly impose like all this other stuff on you.
You were a beautiful soul, Jesse McCartney. You were a beautiful soul on the show that was snuffed out too soon. Snuffed out too soon. Coming up, we have an exclusive interview from the cast and crew about tonight's episode, including one with Chris himself, Lorenzo James Henry, about why Chris shot Reid, and a behind-the-scenes look at Alicia's daring escape and slide down Connor's boat, plus a sneak peek of next week's all-new episode of Fear the Walking Dead. But first, before you throw a pregnant lady in a cage when she eats your steak, let's slow things down and say a final farewell to all those we lost tonight.
episode 205 is called Captive, partially because a couple of our folks are held captive by a couple of pirates who've taken them, and we in turn have taken one of theirs. There are several different characters who are trying to make up for past wrongs. Travis and Chris are both, and Alicia actually are all sort of trying to make up for the things that they'd done in the past. As always, we're looking at blood versus bond, and who do you look out for when the world turns? What does family mean?
That was Fear writer Carla Ching on themes of redemption and what family means. In tonight's episode, we're back with Jesse and Daniel and Alicia. Here's the Alicia Jack reaction card from Donald Official with 2 L's. I thought Alicia was checking Jack out until I saw the knife in his back pocket. Then Janelle Tweed says the Alicia and Jack chemistry, I don't want to get attached, but hot damn in all caps.
Hot
and then
damn.
Kimberly says, I kind of ship Alicia and Jack, but then I also wanted to throw him off the boat for what he did. So I don't know. So people are torn, but they're happy at the same time. Yeah. Jesse, how would you describe the dynamic between Connor and Reid?
I think, I think that Connor, as an older brother, he looks up to him, and I think Connor is sort of this safe haven, much like, Travis is the head of this family on the Abigail. Connor is sort of the head of this, band of pirates, and he's sort of like the father figure. And I think Reid, he loves him, and I think he's out to, even though he has a very, doesn't have much of a moral compass, and he'll kind of go to any lengths, to get his. I think at the end, it is to sort of to look out for his family. So they're very much alike, with Travis. He's very much alike, like Travis and Madison in that regard.
Daniel, what kind of relationship did Jack think he could have with? Did he think this was something that could actually happen, that she could just get taken from her family and be like, all right, let's hook up now?
Well, I think that, we have to remember, like, it's all very new to us, right? It just happened a few days ago. So I think, like, when I first connect with her on the radio, there's obviously I'm looking for someone. I'm looking to speak to someone, and then she picks up. And I feel like, there's been a few conversations that we had on the radio, and that kind of builds a relationship or something that you can relate to each other. So I think that he's just really intrigued by this voice and who this person is in a world that has completely changed him.
But he does, it's that one, the episode before, it's like, was any of that true? Well, pieces of it.
Well, yeah, because he is working for Connor, he is the guy that's in charge of the radio. It's, finding out who's out there.
Right.
And there is a few things that he needed to say, probably, but I think that while, when they start meeting each other, it changes a little bit,
This is from Lorene Claremont on Twitter. Was Alicia manipulating Jack in order to protect her family, or does she really have feelings for him? I can't figure it out either. I keep flip-flopping.
What is it?
That's great, because that's the reaction I really wanted to have, honestly. I worked really, really hard for this whole episode to have that kind of ambiguity. Like, I wanted everyone to feel like you didn't really know what Alicia was going to do, if she was playing him the whole time, or if she kind of started to care about him in some sort of way. And I think what I really wanted to capture was the complexity of that sort of relationship. Because in any other world, it would almost be like, maybe they could be together, but this is a whole new lore of like everything. And so I wanted it to feel like like those tweets, almost like I almost want them to be together, but I don't want them to be together.
Right.
And so that was my aim the whole time, to really give it that kind of feeling. But I think ultimately, yes, Alicia, her main goal is to get back to her family, because that's what she needs to do. And it is a completely unrealistic idea to suddenly be swept off your feet like one day, and then like in this apocalypse, just like, I'll
through
be
the
with you
radio.
now. It's fine.
Yeah. My voice did everything. Yeah.
I lost the world, passing my family, but hey, sweet hair. It's like, what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But there was a moment where I thought, oh, maybe she's gonna grab him and they're gonna jump off together, or because now is Jack heartbroken, or is he angry, or what do you think?
I think it's a mix of both of them. I think it's there's a certain aspect that it's like, okay, well, we're connecting. You're in my world. You're in my boat now. I'm teaching you the ropes of what I know and what I do, and she seems to be catching up, and I'm excited, and it's someone that is around, and then she jumps, and I'm like, where are you going? I mean,
Yeah.
we were just. I'm confused. You know, I don't understand. And I think it's a mix of both. The same thing that she was saying. I think when it's not as clear, it's much more interesting. You know what I mean? So
Swiping left.
Yeah,
Because there is that moment where I said to my fiance, this is of course after watching years of Walking Dead, I'm like, she should have stabbed him in the neck if she wasn't going to take him, because now he's just going to track her down.
It's just been a few days.
Now he's pissed.
It's just been a few days.
Yeah, it's just been a few days. It was on the boat. Why can't we be together? Like, I see that scene coming. Now it's time to see how carefully you paid attention to tonight's Fear episode and get ready to take our quiz live. When we come back, more interviews with the cast, a behind-the-scenes look at Alicia's dramatic escape from Connor's boat, and that exclusive sneak peek of next week's episode of Fear. But first, it's time for the quiz. May the best fan win in 5, 4, 3, 2, quiz.
When Chris shoots Reid, I really wanted to understand the mind of our showrunner, Dave Erickson, because there's a time span where you don't see what propels Chris to shoot Reid. When they're off screen, he says something to Chris that makes him pull out the gun and pop him. It was something that he said about his mom. It wasn't rationalized. It was complete emotion and anger again. This kid is going through so much trauma, and the only way Chris can make up for it, rationalize it, or keep it a secret, is to say that he was gonna turn.
Welcome back to Talking Dead. That was Lorenzo James Henry on what triggered Chris to shoot Reid. Yeah, let's leave the guy who's fragile like a teacup with the guy who's saying a lot of stuff that would piss someone off. This is a reaction card from this is from Black Girl Geeks on Twitter. He was gonna turn equals, I was itching to kill somebody. Nickel D77 on Twitter says, you've gone full Shane, Chris. Never go full Shane. And then a lot of, no, Chris, no. But Jesse, why did Reid pick on Chris out of everyone on the Abigail? He just sensed the weakness in him?
I think so. I mean, I think, Reid was looking for, this was business as usual for Reid. I think he's done this a million times. I think this was just another day at the office, get another ship, and keep moving forward. And I think for him, when he got on, he was looking for the most vulnerable person on the boat. And I think he started to understand the relationship between Travis, his father, and Chris. And if he could get to Chris, he could somehow maybe get to Travis, who was, the head of this boat at this point. And so, I think he just saw a suitable quarry and chose him. And it was really tough, too, because in real life, Lorenzo is the sweetest guy on the planet. You get a toothache talking to this kid. Like, he's just the nicest guy on the planet. So I'm like shoving pistols in his face. I'm like, are you all right? Are you okay? But yeah, I think for, the character, I think it was important for Reid to dive in there and find the weak link, which didn't really work work out for Reid because he
Didn't
blows
work out
his head
that well.
off.
He got shot in the face.
Yeah.
But he basically was trolling. Like, he was trolling everyone.
Yeah.
It's exact trolling behavior. But it also produced one of my favorite lines in television is where Daniel says to him, like, the thing that all the most frightening men had in common is that they never talk about how frightening they are.
Yeah.
Which I felt like was such a profound, I mean, there's no way to, there's nothing you can say to that. What was your reaction to seeing Reid's face blown off?
I mean, that was gross, but it was the whole monologue you had before that where you were like, his Achilles tendon, my brother, he did that. I was like, whoa, that's like next level.
Yeah.
I thought that, I was like squirming the whole time, like not looking.
Yeah, and that was, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Connor as a guy named Mark Kelly, as a guy that I've known for a long time, and he's a fantastic, and he did such a great job.
Yeah.
Good job, Mark Kelly. Sorry you died. Sorry you turned into a zombie. How long did it take to make you look that way with the thing through your stomach and then the face on the
It was
side?
an incredibly long process to put on, and hats off to the special effects makeup department because they did an incredible job. 2.5 hours though, I think, to put it on at first initially, which is funny because it takes 10 minutes to come off, and when it does come off, it doesn't. The blood stays, like, it stains your hands and everything. I remember walking through the airports and stuff, and people were like, what does this guy do?
Is Jesse McCartney okay? His hands were bloody.
Yeah,
I've had so many of those experiences as well, where you like forget and you're like, oh my God, I've got like fake blood everywhere.
yeah, there's still flesh in my teeth.
Oh, right, I work on a show where people get murdered all the time. We want to find out what you guys think at home. Go to talkingdead.com/playdead and let us know. Was Chris wrong to kill Reid? Yes, he wasn't going to turn yet. He did it out of anger. Or no, even if he wasn't turning, Reid had it coming. Well, everyone's voting. Daniel, do you think Reid got what was coming to him?
Yes, he did. Indeed, I think he did. I love you, man. I really do. But he is a little bit of a douchebag, and I was there. I mean, obviously, look, Chris shot him once, and I was just hoping he shot him 3 times. 2 for me and 1 for Chris. And I love you. I love you.
He's a good shot. He went straight for the head.
Yeah.
No, he was kind of a bad shot, actually. It just kind of like skimmed your cheek. It didn't He said no, Chris was not wrong. 72% said Chris was not wrong to kill Reid.
Hey.
But there was also a, and we have a caller in a second, but there was this is kind of a humanizing moment where you're trying to bond with him, and it's like, you're talking about your dad, and then so you do start feeling bad, like, well, this is why he's this way. This is why his character's coming out in this apocalypse. We have a caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Rachel. I'm calling from Edina, Minnesota. My question is for Alicia.
Yes.
Alicia, do you feel like, do you feel like Alicia feels that Madison is kind of being an absentee mother to her because she's been so concerned with Nick?
Yeah, that's a really insightful question, actually, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think that's a huge a part of the relationship that we're going to explore, especially for the rest of the season. Alicia, I feel like for Alicia, Madison is there when no one else is around. And I think that's a large portion of why Alicia is having to make these mistakes and discover this world sort of more on her own.
Sure.
And I think that, she feels a little bit more of a resentment to Madison because she's had to, like, kind of grow up on her own. Nick's always been the priority. He's always been the problem. And so Madison's attention's always on him.
But that's made her self-sufficient, though, and that's why she's going to do well in this world.
And so she's going to learn the lessons, and she's going to she picks things up really, really quickly. And this is a girl that she's not a dumb girl, She's a smart cookie, but what I love most about it is that she's got somewhere to go. She's making the mistakes now so that she can have a huge development and a huge journey to come.
Yes. Coming up, we have an interview with Mercedes Mason, who plays Ophelia. Behind-the-scenes look at Alicia's high dive escape from Connor's boat and the sneak peek from next week's all-new episode of Fear. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Talking Dead. I'm Chris Hardwick. Let's go inside the dead. Here's some inside info from tonight's Fear episode that you cannot get anywhere else. I dare you to try. You will fail. So watch it here.
Reid is shot. Whether he was about to turn or not, Chris has shot Reid, and Nick and Ophelia, again being the pure souls, are left to clean up the mess. It's such a beautifully symbolic thing. Evil in the world, and the pure ones are always there to help clean up afterwards. But Ophelia makes a statement about, I'm getting used to this. This is all we do over and over again. We kill, we clean, we kill, we clean. It's a little insight into how she's changing and how she's starting to understand that this is the new world that we live in. But the beauty of Nick then is, please don't do that. Please don't think like that. He refuses to go to the dark side, and I think he realizes that she may be heading that way. Two innocent people, one chooses one path, another chooses another, and maybe Ophelia never had a choice because of the way her father is. Maybe she was always destined to follow in his footsteps. It's an interesting turn.
Welcome back to Talking Dead. I'm Chris Hardwick. That was Mercedes Mason on how she's coping and adapting to the new world. Back with Jesse and Daniel and Alicia. Now we have a fan from the audience, so we'll get to get up and ask a question. Hello. Welcome. How's it going?
I'm great.
What's your name?
My name is Jennifer.
Jennifer, what's your question?
My question is for Alicia. Do you think that Alex was justified in giving up the location of the Abigail?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I think so. Because this whole world has got like a new set of rules. I think from Alicia's standpoint, it's hard because she was the one that kind of was protecting her and being like, you know, you saved us and we're now, like, it's our duty to save you, and so you should be like on this yacht with us, and you've got a boy with you that needs our help. So I think that it's hard for her to come to terms with. However, I will say there was a scene that was actually edited out of this episode where Alex and Alicia actually meet, and she says, look, I know I like ratted you out, but I'm gonna like help you get out of here. And so we actually, like, we didn't need to do it now. Like, for this episode, it decided it didn't need it. But it was, I think for Alicia, yeah, like, it meant that now, I guess, this is just a whole new world.
Yeah, and obviously, if you saw Flight 462, you know that she's someone that you shouldn't mess with. Okay. Jennifer, I have a very special exchange gift for you. We don't like to have people leave empty-handed. We had him backstage. He was saying stuff about my mom. I shot him. It's fine. So it's for you from Talking Dead. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. You don't even have to bring me Travis. You can just take him, and everything's great. Yeah, have fun. Thank you, Jennifer. Bye. Business said, now she's going to be like, well, I get to take him home because I get to take him now. You can take him. What was the hostage exchange scene like, shooting with your head under a bag and you're a zombie at that point?
It was incredibly hot. The bag does not breathe, and I was tied up. And it was interesting because, you know, obviously they're trading, you know, they hope that this goes well, and it doesn't go well for Connor, obviously, but when they do this big exchange, I remember specifically while we were shooting, too, there's a moment, obviously, when they rip off the bag, and Connor realizes that I've turned, and he puts his arm up, and we have that big moment where I bite into his arm, which is obviously a prosthetic, and I remember shooting it, and they're like, well, it took 90 minutes to put this on, so we get one take. So don't mess it up, or we'll have to pay the entire crew overtime. So no pressure. And it actually, it went very well. They shot, you know, they had 3 cameras rolling from every angle so that we it that perfect bite.
What did it taste like?
Awesome. It just tasted like really bad, like syrup and food coloring, and it wasn't fun. And I still have like stuff in my teeth from it. But it looked like this slice of pizza coming from his arm. It was incredibly graphic and awesome and everything you want in a zombie show.
Poor Connor. Were you jealous that you didn't get to be a zombie?
I was. Actually, it's a funny story. Whenever I like work on something, I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, I got this, you know, gig, and she's like, oh, honey, that's so sweet. Good for you, right? And every single time, because I die a lot, and when I do, she's always like, are you gonna die in this episode? It's zombies, you know. It seems like the show that you should die in. And I'm like, well, in this one I don't really get to die. So I was actually really jealous.
And then she had to sign an NDA that she wouldn't tell anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
You missed out.
Do you think we've seen the last? I mean, I don't know if you can say this or not. Have we seen the last of Jack? You didn't probably.
I don't know.
Oh, you're looking at me like I knew all the answers.
I don't know. Yeah, she knows more
they
than
don't
I
tell
do.
me anything.
That's for sure. I think I don't know. Alex is still around.
Yeah.
She's not the happiest person with this family, and I don't think I'm really ready to let her go or any of them. So I think you might get to see him. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I feel like Jack would take over at that point,
totally
right?
go,
He would
yeah.
become.
He wouldn't
He'd
be
be the new Jack's the new Connor at this point. I
Yeah,
would
exactly.
imagine.
I mean, he's gone. Connor's gone.
Boat still works.
I got
Other
a
boat
big
still
ass
works?
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a lot of things that I could do.
If you know how to cook steaks, like you're like three-quarters of the way there at that
Exactly,
point.
yeah.
Coming up, a behind-the-scenes look at Alicia's high dive escape from Connor's boat and the sneak peek of next week's all-new episode of Fear. But first, let's enjoy Dead Buzz. Tweets we like from real-life fans like you. Check it out.
We're in Ensenada, Mexico. This is a shipyard. This is an actual tuna boat that's been grounded for this shoot.
When we first scouted the location, I saw that boat and thought, this is where this stunt has to take place.
We've been shooting this scene where my stunt double, Whitney, she jumps off a huge tuna boat, and she just made it look so great.
She runs, jumps, slides down the back of the stern of the boat, and then she'll come off into the boxes.
I thought they would do it on airbags, but instead she just dropped onto these piles of empty cardboard boxes.
We have about 600 boxes right here, 22-inch single ply. Typically, when you're doing a fall like this, you want to have one box level for each 10 feet of height.
So we had a dummy that we were able to lower down on a line, knowing the trajectory was going to be similar to what the stunt person would be doing. So we can practice with camera as many times as possible to kind of let everybody frame up, know what's going to happen. And we were very fortunate that it went off without a hitch. One take, worked great, everybody was safe, and we got the shot we wanted.
Welcome back to Talking Dead. I'm Chris Hart. That was a behind-the-scenes look at the stunt work in tonight's episode. Just as a message, kids, do not jump into boxes from your roof or a tuna boat. It's not going to work out well for you. These people are professionals. Please don't do that. This is I want to talk about Strand a little bit. This is from Care GHJ 334. Do you think Strand trusts Madison now that she saved his life? I kind of think everything seems transactional with him, and it's all about negotiations, and he was just like, okay, we just did each other a favor. I still don't know if he trusts her, but what do you think?
I think, yeah, there's still too much secrets going on between the two of them. I think they're never quite giving each other all the information.
Right.
And I think that's been Strand, and that's how Strand really operates. He keeps his cards close to his chest, and I think so does Madison, really.
Absolutely does.
Yeah.
I told you this before we started the show. There's something really messed up in her past, it feels like.
Yeah. I think that's been something that Kim Dickens has been told about, and that no one else knows. So I think there's a feeling that she knows a little bit more about her character than the rest of us do.
Oh.
So that's coming out in certain ways. I even had my mum call me the other day, and she was like, I think there's something going on with Madison. I was like, wow, Mum. Like, plots at you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the apocalypse is going on.
Yeah.
This, by the way, this clipboard scene was amazing between the two of you. The clipboard fight scene was fantastic.
Can I see that?
Yeah, you can see it. You can have it. You can hit him in the face.
It's all right.
What was the scene like to shoot? How did you guys choreograph it?
Well, I almost did hit him in the face.
Yeah. I had never seen this side of Alicia. She's so sweet and such a nice person. And she pushed me one time, like, in rehearsal. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is rehearsal, right? And she's like, oh, I'm going for it. And I was like, all right, cool. You know, the guy was there helping us out. But, yeah, one time she literally, like, this was just so close. And every time it just kept getting closer. We did it a few times.
I know, and I felt so bad because I immediately go into like I'll be in the scene and I'll do it, but then as soon as it's over, I'm like, oh my God, I nearly hit you, didn't I? Hit you, didn't I? I'm so sorry, and like, you know.
But the best part for me was, getting whacked, and it was like,
But
and
you
then
were
going
really
after
good.
her and tackling her. That was pretty fun.
And you were great at that. Like you were
tackling you? Thank you.
Yeah. But I mean, like as a stunt person, like you're significantly better, obviously, than I am. Like you would just like fall, and I was like, oh my God, I'm fine. Like,
You are a
but I think maybe you took a little bit
Good
more than
tackler.
I
Thank
did.
you. Yeah.
By the way, people online were asking in the commercial break, where's everyone from? Australia?
Australia.
Costa Rica?
Costa Rica. I want to say pura vida, because they're going to be mad if I don't say that.
You have
Pura
to,
vida.
yeah.
You have to say that. You have to say
Yeah,
that.
Costa Rica's beautiful. Like, Ben, you should go. It's gorgeous. Jesse?
What's that? I'm a New Yorker.
America! Yeah. All these shows are trying to replace Americans with Australians and New Zealand, Costa Rica.
America.
Jesse's representing America. Come on, man. We're going to show you about NASCAR and hot wings. You need to put ranch dressing. You need to take ranch dressing down to Costa Rica, show them what it's all about. Now it's time for our next poll question. Go to TalkingDead.com/playdead and let us know. Did Alicia finally prove that she's ready to survive the apocalypse? Yes, she jumped off a boat and fought with a mean pregnant lady. No, she still hasn't killed a person yet. Well, everyone's voting. Do you want to plead your case? Do you think
My
you're
God,
acclimated to the
making me
apocalypse?
plead to
Yes,
the
you have to
audience?
plead to the audience.
Oh,
You can
God.
actually watch in real time.
Oh, there I am.
Get the percentage.
Come
Yeah.
on, guys, don't let me down. Alicia's gonna go so far. You know that. Don't kill me off the show.
It feels like you're doing okay, though.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, no, you're doing great. What do you got? 93% say that you are ready to survive the apocalypse.
To
Yeah.
93 to 7%, I'm gonna have to prove my love. And
Nah, screw them. They hate everything. 7% of it. There's always 7% that hate something. So
Yeah.
don't worry about it. They're unhappy. But
can't please everybody.
You can't please everybody. When we return, we have an exclusive sneak peek of next week's all-new episode of Fear the Walking Dead. But first, we want to showcase your original Fear fan art and cosplay photos all season long. Email us a photo at fanart@talkingdead.tv for a chance to see your art featured on this very program, like this talented human. Check it out. Welcome back to Talking Dead. During the break, we asked you the best Fear the Walking Dead spin-off. The spin-off of the spin-off. Your choices were Agents of Abigail, Friday Night Bites, or Pretty Little Zombies, and you, the fans, overwhelmingly voted for Pretty Little Zombies. Also, this is circling now on the internet. A lot of people are now referring to you as Captain Jack. They think you're the guy. We have not seen the last of Captain Jack. He is obsessed with Alicia from Amethyst Gem on Twitter, and Bolts Blazers fan. You could call him Captain Jack. So
I'm the
hopefully we'll see
captain
that.
now.
But now it's time for the exclusive sneak peek of next week's episode of Fear. Check it out.
No. Luis, get back up here.
What's going on?
Why are they coming towards us?
What do you mean they?
There are two of them. Tell me one of them is Miguel.
Yeah, the one of the wheelers. The other guy, I don't know.
Madison, get everyone down below deck. You need to hide. Luis, give me your gun.
We have a problem. Engine room now.
What's going on?
Where's Nick?
He went down below.
Come inside.
Can it wait?
No, it can't. Company's on the way.
All right. So things are getting very real very fast. Oh, this is our last segment. We actually didn't cover it. Jesse, what do you think the voice that Daniel heard was?
Who knows? I mean, when you make a show like this, everyone's hearing voices. In between takes, I feel like I was hearing voices. It's funny. That's the great thing. We don't totally know yet. And, I think it has something to do with the fact that, he's kind of apprehensive about this whole situation, even with the people that he's around. I think, he really wants to protect his daughter, Ophelia, and he wants to protect his family. And I think even though they're together, there's a separation there. Whatever happened in his past, I don't think we totally know yet, but that's going to come, I think, sooner rather than later.
Excellent. This is from Tamels, TEYMLESSXOX.
Wow.
All right.
What?
I know. Alicia, how do you think Alicia would react if she has to kill a human?
I mean, I think that's really hard. I think Alicia. Thanks, Jesse.
Alicia with a Y or?
Alicia with a, yeah, Alicia with an I.
Alicia with a Y or an I?
How does Alicia with a Y feel about Alicia with an I having to kill a person?
I think that, you know, Alicia only in episode 3 finally killed one of the infected. And to kill a human, like, what I like about Alicia as a character is that she is driven by compassion, and that is her strength, is to really want to connect with people. And I think that isn't necessarily a quality that should be lost in this world. Like,
Sure.
I think it can hinder you, but I think in the right moment, in the right time, it is important, because that's what, you know, humanity really is.
Of course, but just don't ever become the moral compass. That's always the danger in this universe.
That's the problem, isn't it?
The second you're like, we need to remember our humanity. Crossbow. Yeah.
So, but I think, that'll be a really, really hard moment, and I think at some point it's going to be inevitable.
Well, you guys were all so great. Thank you so much. A huge hand for my guests tonight. Jesse McCartney, Dan Glavato, Alicia and Jack, wonderful guests. Be sure to check out Daniel's new movie, Don't Breathe, in theaters August 26th. Join us next week. We'll have Ophelia herself, Mercedes Mason, actor and comedian Jim Gaffigan, and a surprise guest. Right now, stick around for an encore of Fear the Walking Dead. Tomorrow, we're going to TalkingDead.com for a bonus segment, plus highlights from this very show. I'm Chris Hardwick, and thank you again to Jesse and Daniel. A huge hand for everybody. Don't text and drive. Be nice to each other. Enjoy your week. Happy Mother's Day. I'm at Hardwick on the tweets and the Instagrams. Good night. Have a steak.